It's been the most exciting, unpredictable election for a generation. Over the next few hours, we'll discover what's happened. Welcome to election night here on the BBC. Good evening, and what an extraordinary campaign it's been. It began as a two-horse race. It ended with 3 starters at the line. And in 4 minutes' time, when we have our exit poll, we'll have the first indication of who's the winner, if indeed there is a clear winner. Whether David Cameron becomes the first Tory Prime Minister in 13 years, whether Gordon Brown returns triumphant to number 10, or whether it's Nick Clegg who in effect acts as the kingmaker. There are 650 constituencies, which each sends 1 MP to the new House of Commons. An electorate of just over 45 million people, whose votes will be counted at nearly 450 centres throughout the United Kingdom. Towns and cities, countryside and suburbs. And we've got our cameras at more of them than any other broadcaster. And a team around me here, the engine room, that will analyse these results as they come in. Some of our top reporters are with the party leaders. Andrew Marr is with David Cameron, Kirsty Walk with Nick Clegg, and John Simpson following Gordon Brown. And Jeremy Vine will open the doors into his virtual world to display the results in all their glory.
Can David Cameron pave the way to number 10? Here are our paving stones flying into Downing Street. Each one of them has a constituency on it. The seats the Conservatives need to win to get Mr Cameron to the end of the street. They need 116 extra seats for an overall majority. And here they are. And if they win them in order of difficulty, the last one is Waveney. And if they get them, Mr Cameron is then up the stairs. He opens the door, and as Prime Minister, he goes in.
There'll be plenty more of that to come. And Jeremy Paxman is here to talk to the big political beasts.
Yes, up here on the naughty step, we shall have a constantly changing procession of winners and losers, of battle-weary veterans and eager adventurers, finding out from them what this decision we've made means and what will happen to us now.
And by the London Eye, with a spectacular view across the Thames to the Palace of Westminster, Andrew Neil will be talking to some familiar faces.
Yes, throughout the night I'm going to be talking to an eclectic mix of opinion formers and celebrities, including Piers Morgan, Simon Schama, Ian Hislop, Bruce Forsyth, Joan Collins, Ben Kingsley, and maybe, just maybe, a few surprises.
Fiona Bruce will be keeping us up to date, hour by hour, with what's happened, and the BBC's political editor Nick Robinson with sharp comment on the future of British politics.
Politicians on all sides are expecting a result that makes history. Either the first Tories to eject Labour from government in 3 decades, or a stunning political comeback for Labour, or an uncertain result which could lead to days of haggling, a deal, even a coalition. And the argument about who has the right to govern could start tonight in here.
And to look at any one constituency in this election where every seat matters, Emily Maitlis.
Yes, one big headline result, but there will be clues along the way to help us get there. My team will be sifting through those 650 individual races to see which results start spelling out the big picture. And this machine will help me show you. Here is how we voted last time round. What colour will we paint the country this time? Stay with us as I show you what your vote has done to this map.
Now, in a moment, as Big Ben strikes 10, we'll be able to give the result of our exit poll. For the first time, not an opinion poll, not people saying how they intend to vote, but people answering the question after they've voted. How did you vote? And that's how this is formed. We went to 130 different polling places to find this out. But remember, this is only an exit poll. If it was dead accurate, there'd be no need for anybody to go and vote. 10 o'clock. And this is what we're saying. It's going to be a hung parliament with the Conservatives as the largest party. And the figures, the Conservatives on 307, short by 19 of the 326 they'd need for an overall majority. Labour on 255, the Liberal Democrats on 59, and others on 29. And if that's right, the Liberal Democrats, despite all that noise and fury, have actually dropped 3 seats, which could be one reason why you need to be a bit sceptical about this exit poll. To make it up, NOP and Mori spoke to 18,000 people in 130 polling stations in England, Scotland and Wales, and they did it for the BBC, for ITV News and for Sky. All these polls, of course, have a small margin of error, which could be significant in a tight election like this. In fact, we're almost on the cusp of knowing what actually has happened. 3 main Westminster parties so close in the opinion polls right through, and possibly so close tonight. And there could be different voting patterns around the country. Of course, the exit poll, again, tries to take account of that, but it may not necessarily have got it right. Different people voting in different ways throughout the UK. Everybody agrees this has been a very complicated election. There's the exit poll. It's just a start. Everything to play for. When the first results coming in, it could be a different picture from the one we're showing here. Nick.
Well, drama, excitement, uncertainty is guaranteed by that exit poll, David, because the Tory party there just short of what they need for an overall majority in the House of Commons. Now, if the poll is wrong slightly, they may find that they can indeed hold power. Even with those numbers, they would probably govern successfully as a minority government. Wrong in the other direction, though, and the possibility comes that if indeed the Liberal Democrats do much better than that poll suggests, as many people would expect them to, that there is just the slightest possibility that Gordon Brown could try and hold on to power by coming to an arrangement or indeed a formal coalition with the Liberal Democrats. I mean, what we know is that those exit polls are based on uniform behaviour, and if that is not right, if that does not happen, what we know is we're in for an extremely interesting night.
Nick, so true, so true. Now, we've got an innovation this year, big innovation. We've managed to project onto Big Ben, for the first time, the results as they come through. There is Big Ben in the tower, Big Ben, of course, referring to the bell, not the tower itself, and the BBC's exit poll is there, projected on there, and as the results come in, we will continue to put them up there at the very heart of Parliament. And they have to reach that 326 for a majority, which of course they haven't at this stage under the exit poll rules. The Tories on 307, Labour on 255, the Liberal Democrats on 59, others on 29. Now it's just after 10 o'clock and there's a race on now for the first result. The first result's going to be very important to us. The first few will give us some indication of what's gone on. As you know, it's always places that are safe Labour seats that go first, or possibly Torbay, but normally Sunderland, safe Labour, but nevertheless our experts look at those and analyse what change there's been, and our helicopters are up there in the sky spotting ballot boxes being taken in the cars and then rushed to the count. And Sunderland in particular, Houghton and Sunderland South, we expect to be the first to declare. We'll be up there with our reporter in a moment and try and get that result in. Now we're joined by Michael Gove for the Tories and Harriet Harman for Labour. Mr. Gove, have you heard our exit poll? What do you make of it?
Do this. No, it doesn't.
Harriet Harman, I'll come back to you, Michael Gove, in a moment. I think your microphone may not be working. Harriet Harman, what do you make of this exit poll?
Well, as I left my constituency a few minutes ago, people were still queuing at the polling station, and I think up and down the country, people are just finished closing the polling stations, and every vote will need to be counted, every constituency will need to be declared. It's obviously going to be very close, but I think what is clear is that the country does need a strong and stable government to take us through the recession, and the country hasn't turned overwhelmingly to the Conservatives and given them the trust and confidence that the Conservatives were predicting a year or so ago.
Is the implication of what you're saying that if it is a hung parliament of the kind the exit poll is suggesting, not us, and that if it were possible for Labour and the Liberal Democrats together to form a government, that would be the right way to go? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm just saying it's too early to say, because literally the polling stations up and down the country have only just closed, and each individual vote has to be counted and each individual count has to be declared. I mean, this is in a way a moment for a bit of humility from political commentators and political parties. The public will decide, and then obviously we need to have the strong and stable government. We need to follow the constitutional conventions to get that strong and stable government to take us through the recession. But I think it's been clear that there is